Hello and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast, episode 51 for the week of August 30th, 2018.
It's July.
Oh, yeah, I said July. Or I said
We're
August.
almost in August.
Yeah, July 30th. August is in like 2 days.
Yeah,
I'm your host
sure
as always, Saine Grey. With me is Dalsson
It's me. I'm here,
and Thel.
as always.
Let me guys tell you about the fucking heat and how much my hair hates it.
Same.
I can't be doing with this shit, man. It's fucking too goddamn hot out here, and my hair is not happy about that shit. Al Gore, why did you have to go and cause global warming? What the fuck, Al Gore? It's all your fault.
Damn. Let's not
You
get too
guys are
political
complaining
here,
about it
though.
being hot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the humidity that my hair doesn't like.
Yeah, I also don't like humidity. It has been a bit more humid lately. It hasn't been raining too much, but like because of monsoon season, it's just been like muggy more often, which is kind of sucky, but you know, it's not too bad.
Right. Naturally.
So, who wants to start this week?
Oh boy.
Thel wants to start this week.
What am I gonna start with? Oh yeah, that's what I should start with. I played one video game that I haven't played this week
Caught
that
my
is,
interest.
and that I'm gonna talk about this week because I didn't talk about it last week. So I played the game that you guys played, Fortnite, finally, and it was pretty fucking terrible. I wasn't exactly convinced that it would be my least favorite one, but oh my gosh, it was. And we had a huge conversation while we were playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds about like how we kind of like each of us have like a different thing that we hate that like kills Fortnite for us.
Oh yeah.
And each of us is like, yeah, that's a big problem.
So we all agree that our individual issues with it are problems, and we just have one particular issue
thing that like
that
pushes
makes it the worst.
Yeah. The gunplay is fucking terrible. Like even if like
that's my issue.
Atrocious. Even if like they
Sane's
fix
biggest
like
issue,
the dick bullets, it's not fun to
still,
shoot. Yeah, it still feels like a really wimpy at best.
Yeah.
Which isn't great. That was one of the things I was surprised about Cuisine Royale. All the guns in Cuisine Royale feel fucking great. They all feel heavy as shit. In Fortnite they feel like baby bitch guns when they work. And when they don't.
You know what's kind of weird about that? Like, Fortnite is an Unreal Engine game.
Yeah.
Like, so you would expect the gunplay to be decent at least.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's odd.
And it's like an Epic game.
Yeah,
but
you would
I mean,
think
you know.
Epic of all people would be able to make
Yeah.
shooting feel okay in their Unreal Tournament Engine game or Unreal
Yeah.
Engine game.
It's like, come on. It's very peculiar.
Yeah.
And then I can't stand it's not the base building aspect that I hate about it. Bases, I think, are cool. Building up a base and like that's what I like to do in PlayerUnknown is go into a house and kind of base up and fortify that, get ready for people coming to it. So it'd be cool to build your own base, right? Unfortunately, there is no base building in Fortnite. All you do is just spam walls in any random direction until
It's like you during fights you're supposed to spam walls. It's like there's not exactly a lot of base building. There's like, okay, now I'm in a fight, time to
whip out those resources that I got by accident and just throw them everywhere.
And my problem, the big problem that I have, which I mean the two problems that these guys have are huge problems with the game that I also hate, is that the entire player base and the entire game seems to be built around the idea that you have watched streamers play it. It feels very, very meta-y in a game that should not for any reason be very, very meta-y.
Yeah, in like a MMO PvP or something like League of Legends or Dota, meta is a good thing because like there's certain things that are better. Yeah, it keeps the game fresh. Like there's certain things that are better than things. So if the meta starts getting pushed towards something that the old meta that beats that out, then that's good, and it kind of cycles around. It keeps it going. But in a game where like the game is a free-for-all shooter, like what should be the meta in that? Then the meta is do whatever Ninja did that week.
Yeah, and like things like dropping towards the ocean. Like everyone will drop immediately and drop towards the ocean and like try to jank the game as much as possible. And because of the fact that this game is so janky, everyone knows all of the jank, and everyone's like you're expected to play with the jank.
Yeah, I don't even.
That's how the game was designed.
I don't even think. I don't even think that it's like a meta thing. I think it's more that the community has sort of surrounded all of these exploits. they're all exploits.
I mean, that is really what it is.
The exploits are the best way to be. I wouldn't really call them exploits.
Well, no. Things like dropping towards the ocean. That is certainly an exploit because that's just abusing the game logic.
Right. It's abusing the game's mechanics, but it's not like a bug exploit.
There's just. Well, I don't know. It may not be a bug, but it's still probably intended.
It was an unintentional thing that
when they designed it, they didn't intend for it.
The other thing is riding on rockets or rocket surfing or whatever, which is like really stupid.
Yeah.
The fact that you can do that at all is dumb, but like Epic kind of encouraging it and having it as this really advanced strategy seems really dumb.
In fact, it encouraged it so much to the point that they actually made a guided rocket that you could jump onto and then guide yourself around, and then they found that was too OP, so they removed all explosives from the game instead of just removing the one thing, and then everybody was mad at them for that, so they put an explosive back into the game. And then it's like all they care about is whatever crazy meme the community wants to do.
Yeah, because that's what makes the money, which kind of sucks. It's like it to me it feels like that thing all of us really, really hated about running dungeons in Guild Wars 2, where in the dungeons are really well designed and fun to do. The problem is everyone who wants the dungeons wants to speed run them by fucking Super Mario Brothers 64 running into the wall for 12 hours so they can pop across dimensions and skip half the bosses. Like, I don't want to do that shit. That's not fun.
I just want to play it.
I want to play the video game.
Sequence breaking can be fun, but it shouldn't be the way that you have to do it in order to allow you to even play the game. Yeah. And that's how Fortnite feels.
Yeah,
so I feel like my issue with Fortnite isn't like I wasn't saying like bug exploits. I was saying in a similar way to Guild Wars where you can like jank your way with the game logic. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's the thing. In Guild Wars, it's like a 5-man group, and you might get like a couple guys.
You're doing like PvE.
And you're doing like PvE stuff. So you might get like a couple guys who are like, oh, let's be cocknobs and fuck with this dungeon. And then you can just not, and then they'll get mad and leave, and it'll be fun. And the rest of you can probably do the dungeon on your own. So who cares? But in this game, it's like PvP, and then you see motherfuckers like janking the game harder than you can, so they kill you.
I wouldn't say that you would be able to do dungeons by yourself in Guild Wars, or even
no. I mean, like if it was like the three of us doing a dungeon, and we had 2 pubs, right? We could probably do the dungeon by ourselves.
No,
probably, but
not on explorable dungeons.
Yeah,
we've tried. You can't.
It's hard.
Okay. All right.
But they do let you replace people mid dungeon, so that's good.
Yeah. In Guild Wars, the issue with the dungeons specifically is they've completely abandoned them. They really they don't give a shit about the dungeons
because they were so pissed off.
And that's the difference between those two devs. Like the devs were so pissed off that people kept breaking dungeons that they tried to band-aid it and band-aid it and band-aid it, and they were like, you know what? Fuck it. We don't have the resources dedicated to redesigning the dungeons from the ground up, so we're just going to make fractals that you can't fucking break.
Yeah.
Actually, no. They did do fractals, and you can still break them, and they spend a lot of time fixing problems in fractals. I think they just shifted focus away from dungeons because they just didn't enjoy making them.
One of the things, like, as far as like janking games and finding exploits in games like this and stuff, it's really good. Like when it's like a very sort of single player game, it's fun, and when it's like a a game that's very, very PvE focused or has a lot of mechanics, like Path of Exile, for instance. There are ways you can kind of jank that around with items and like stuff, but the thing is, the game is created to do that.
Yeah, they encourage you to find these weird interactions with items, and who cares if you find something crazy overpowered? You're just fighting.
Yeah, you're gonna be killing Dominus again, and you're gonna kill him within seconds. But that's the thing. You don't even need to interact with other people. It might as well be a single-player game at that point.
Plus, I think it's less unpopular if you, like, patch out, like, a thing in Path of Exile, like, a weird specific combination in Path of Exile than it is to patch out the thing that everyone does on stream in Fortnite because it's the most popular streaming game in the world. So yeah, I think there's a little difference just in magnitude as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was Thel's issue with Fortnite. And then Dalsson has a completely different issue with Fortnite.
Yeah, the base building just isn't. It's not base building.
Base building. Yeah.
It's you just fucking shoot whatever you want so that they don't shoot you.
Yeah.
And it's like, it'd be cool to have an erectable barrier, right? Like, every once in a while, but not just throw wood down until you accidentally shoot them before they accidentally shoot you. Which goes into Saine's problem.
Which, even when you're trying to shoot people, is hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think still, of all of the ones I've played, I haven't played Cuisine Royale or whatever, but of all the ones I've played, I still like PUBG the best. I'm just bored of it now.
I agree. That's pretty much how I feel about it.
I think like Paladins a little bit better. I will admit that PUBG has definitely gotten better. Like, I was able to actually get into a game on high settings, which I was not previously able to. But I was
optimization killed it for you, and you started harping on all of the other bad stuff about it, and there's good stuff about it. There's a lot of good stuff about it. But I'm not sure that I like battle royales anymore.
I suppose I can understand that.
I'm not completely done with the genre, I would say. It just needs a major shakeup before I'm interested again. Because I put 51 hours into PlayerUnknown, which is a lot for me. And I think I'm perfectly fine. Like, I got my $60 worth or whatever. I spent $40 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I got my money's worth out of it in my mind. I put it down now, and I probably, like, at most I'll go back and play a game every now and then, but I just don't see myself really spending any significant amount of time in it. I think I hit the wall in PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds where the only way I would get better at playing it is by playing a fuck ton of it, and I don't want to. So
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
And I just like PvE games more in general, I think. PvP games are easier to play because
you can just, like, jump in them.
Yeah, you can jump in them. Other people, like, it's easy to play as a group. I don't know. They're, like, it's easier to play PvP games for longer periods of time, but I find PvE games more rewarding in general.
I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Not that I've been really into MMOs lately either, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all don't like Fortnite.
Yeah,
we're like the only people on the planet, but you know.
I released a whole video. Well, I don't know, for a lot of you gotten comments on that video like Fortnite sucks.
So, I feel like most people who have played games that aren't Fortnite probably. I think most like critics don't really like Fortnite that much.
Yeah,
and it's really only streamers who like Fortnite because it makes them money, and then like people who I don't know. I guess there's legitimate reasons to like Fortnite, and like some people really enjoy the base building aspect. Like I can see why some people would enjoy it. I guess it just seems like by and large, I notice most critics don't really care about Fortnite.
Yeah.
Well, I know, and I was a little bit skeptical
Fortnite doesn't
about
need the critics.
It's got the streamers.
Well, it's got the casual audience.
I was a little bit skeptical about Fortnite because like a lot of what I heard about Fortnite bad was that thing just the response to any game is, "Oh, Fortnite sucks. It sucks. It sucks." And I was like, "Well, does it suck though?" And then I played it. And I was like, "Okay, you know what?
Yeah,
I usually disagree with these guys. Like,
yeah, the only reasoning that Thel had probably heard at all about why why the game might be bad is what we told him.
It was what these guys told me.
That's the only.
I don't think he completely took us seriously until he tried it.
Yeah. It was absolutely fucking really terrible. Cause like it's weird. Like with Minecraft, right? It's a game I played like back when it was in beta, legitimately like almost 10 years ago now. It was like a game I played back in beta, and there's a bunch of other games like it, and it's like I'd rather play those games, but I understand why a lot of people like it. Five Nights at Freddy's, I feel like there are a lot of better horror games that do horror a lot better, but I understand why people like it.
Yeah, originally
it's bad.
Both of those were like they weren't a completely unique take on something, but they're
Minecraft
they earned their pop. Well, Minecraft copied off Infiniminer, but there were like 200 people who played Infiniminer.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's not worth getting in the argument, but I do think it did a lot of unique things, regardless.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a good reason that a lot of people like Minecraft. I played Minecraft recently. I was like, maybe I'll like it.
I still kind of like Minecraft, but like theoretically like Minecraft.
Yeah,
I like the concept of Minecraft more than I actually like playing it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got all these games, and these.
Oh.
Yeah, this sucks. Fucking sucks. And it's like, I don't know if it's gonna suck that much. And then I played Fortnite. I'm like, those jack-offs are right. This kind of does suck.
Yeah. Thel, you're having issues there.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh no. Oh no. What's happening?
It's your internet. I think your camera and stuff.
I don't think we missed much. I think we got the point of what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
The gist of it was that all those assholes who said Fortnite sucks were right.
Right.
Including me and Saine.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you guys had like legitimate reasons for disliking it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, most of those jackoffs, what you thought was, oh, they're saying Fortnite sucks just because it's popular and they're hipsters.
I didn't even go into Fortnite thinking I would dislike it. Like, I remember sitting down with Dalsson being like, you want to actually try Fortnite because it might be
we
fun.
Were like, I mean, it's really popular. We like PlayerUnknown. Like, it's just a little more arcadey, and I like the idea of building bases and stuff, and and then the shooting sucks.
And I like the aesthetic heads and tails more than like. The one thing that Fortnite just actually crushes at all of the competition is aesthetic. Like, it just looks and feels more interesting and fun than any of the other ones.
Sure.
Even Realm Royale, which is kind of cribbing it a little bit, like
they
just does a better job.
They have these really cool like lore thingies too, like they're revealing stuff about the world and building on the story that they set up in what Fortnite was supposed to be, which was a zombie shooter.
It was like a tower defense horde game or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and that is like my least favorite genre. So
yeah. So I don't know. It's weird. They did shit like drop a replica of the burger, like in real life in the middle of the fucking Sahara Desert.
Drop Thanos.
Yeah, this Thanos is
pick up the Thanos drop to turn into Thanos.
Yeah. Don't know about that one. It's a little
It's ridiculous in the right kind of way, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the ridiculous, like the campy, ridiculous nature of the game is cool. That's why I think something like rocket riding isn't like that far fetched. But the fact is, it was a bug. It wasn't.
It wasn't like something that is a cool thing that they added to the game as like a feature. It was an exploit that the streamers did.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, plus it's one of those things that raises the skill ceiling in a way that is kind of unfair.
Yeah.
I don't know. It forces you to learn a very technical exploit in order to be competitive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just seems dumb to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Completely agreed.
You can't just get by on fucking shooting people in that game, and that's the worst.
And that's like the whole point of the game.
You should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You should be able, like, even if there is a higher skill
Oh
ceiling.
yeah, and I don't mean like you shouldn't be able to like you shouldn't be able to play with the top dogs without maybe knowing a couple exploits. I mean like you should be able to play the game. Like you should be able to
and you can't.
You should be able to stand on the floor with a gun in your hand
and maybe get a kill.
Yeah.
And if the shooting were better, you could ignore all those exploits. But the shooting is so atrocious, so inaccurate, so like marshmallow bullets. Like it just doesn't, it's.
And like the techniques that we're talking about is something that you could only have known about if you watch and read guides and pay attention to it.
Yeah, like, you can't really figure that out by being killed by somebody.
That makes the game so inaccessible to new players. It's not even funny. The only reason people play it at all is because it's popular.
Yeah.
And the difference between this and like something like being robust in Space Station 13 is like all of the things that you sort of need to look up and learn in Space Station 13 are like built-in things that are stuff that you're supposed to play the game with. You know, like this is how the game was created and built, and what you were supposed to do. Like with early Minecraft, you had to look up you had to go onto the wiki to be able to figure out what you were supposed to do at all,
or how to craft things and recipes and stuff.
But it's like this is the game. This is how the game was created, rather than you have to look up in the wiki to figure out how the best to break the game in a way the game was never meant to work, so that you can kill people.
Yeah,
which is silly.
I did hear they nerfed the strength of walls, so you might be able to shoot him down easier mid instruction, but I don't know.
That's not gonna make me install the game. Shit.
Yeah, I still don't think that's gonna be enough. I think that the one thing that they could do, the one single thing that they could do that would make me go back and try Fortnite again, see if it's any better, is make it so that walls are intangible until they're finished building. That's it. That way people won't be able to spam down walls like fucking morons.
Or at least you could shoot through the holes in the building walls.
Yeah,
because
like
the picture of it shows like a log come up, and then a log come up here, and then a board come up here. Like at least if there was collision with the walls that were, or the part of the wall that was up, that might be different than just making the whole thing.
People could still spam down walls for like semi-cover, but it's just like, I don't know. It's the way that you're supposed to play the game is dumb.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
Yeah,
we spent way too much time on Fortnite.
No, we spent the right amount of time on Fortnite, because Fortnite now I can use it as the title card.
Good. Yeah, good plan.
Let's move on to something else. Because I think like the only other thing I did this week, aside from like because like I was making the video a lot, I think the only other thing I did this week was finish Luke Cage.
I didn't really play video games this week.
Yeah, me neither.
How far into Luke Cage did you get, Saine?
I want to say 4 episodes. Here, let me see. Someone. Okay, well, I can't. I don't know. I don't remember where I was at, but
that's fine.
Right.
I was blown away by Luke Cage. Unlike the other Marvel things, like the Marvel Netflix shows where they sort of like had this huge downturn halfway through, as the show went on, it just got better and better and better.
I totally agree with that. That's like you get to about this halfway point, you have a couple of different villains going on, and like everybody's vying for power.
I've seen the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the basic plot of the second season of Luke Cage. Last season on Luke Cage, we were left off with 2 villains still kicking around that weren't had the crap beat out of them by Luke Cage. These 2 villains are currently controlling the underworld. When the new villain comes in, this villain hates the previous villain and it wants to gang war with them. So you have
honestly doesn't really have that big of a problem with Luke Cage, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Until he starts fucking on him.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like these 2 gangs are
I feel like it was the same problem with Fortnite. I hate this guy because he's popular.
Yeah, basically.
yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. So these two guys are vying for power.
And shooting him feels like it does absolutely nothing.
Yeah. These two gangs are vying for power. There's the police that are trying to take both of the gangs down, and then there's Luke Cage, who's caught in the middle of all of this crossfire, and basically just wants to keep Harlem safe, and that's it. And is also dealing with his own shit. He has like a bunch of emotional problems he's trying to work through. In this show, like it sounds, Luke Cage kind of takes a little bit of a back seat, to the point where I think Misty Knight almost has like as much screen time as he does.
I think so, but they're obviously building her up to be a part of Heroes for Hire.
Oh yeah,
because in the comics she gets her robotic arm eventually.
Yeah,
which I've already gotten far enough into it to see that is coming.
Yeah.
I don't know if it happens this season or later, but it's definitely coming.
She has it, and minor spoilers. There is an episode with Danny Rand in it, and we were like, we like got to that episode, and we were like, oh no, Iron Fist is coming. He's coming to town. The idiot ball is in.
And they made him great.
He was really good, really well written.
Well, I feel like I felt the same way about Defenders in that the way that they wrote Danny Rand in Defenders kind of made up for how he was portrayed in his own show. Yeah. And it just comes down to it was a bad writing team for Iron Fist. Like,
straight up.
That's all it was.
I don't know. So my thing with Luke Cage is I've been having trouble getting through it because I don't know. Luke Cage just isn't my favorite character. I think I like him well enough, but like I just haven't been super motivated to continue, and maybe it is because I need to get into it for it to get better, but 4 episodes in, I'm like, I could watch Luke Cage, or I could do this other stuff, and I just keep getting distracted by other stuff. So
so it's not like you're trying not to watch it. It's not like, oh, I have to get through it. It's just like, oh, I
would rather do something else. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And we did that for a while. We watched some of The Simpsons in the middle of Luke Cage. We were like, oh, we'll just finish it up.
Well, eventually we did.
Because I forced my way through Iron Fist. I did watch all of Iron Fist.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, we couldn't even finish
my problem with it wasn't that... Like, the writing was obviously bad. And the worst thing about it was there was nuggets of good things in it that they just fucked up. I still feel like that show is... Like, the good parts of it might be worth struggling through to get to, just to see how it builds up for Defenders, because I did like how it tied in with Defenders, but like, if you didn't watch Jessica Jones season 2, you shouldn't even bother with Iron Fist. So, you know,
Thel hasn't even tried to watch Jessica Jones season 2. I want to give it a shot, but I don't really watch stuff by myself. Iron Fist, I'm like, Thel obviously was totally on board, but I think I was actually the first one to like say, I don't think he wanted to say it, but I was the first one to say, let's stop watching this. This is awful. This is atrocious.
Yeah, and I was willing to like struggle through some of it, but yeah, Iron Fist is bar none the worst.
I am very forgiving on stuff, but this wasn't even Iron Fist wasn't even entertaining, whereas Luke Cage is like, it's got a lot of like this political drama, and I'm not talking like big politics. I'm talking like little gang
like
war
local
politics.
Internal
like
politics, not like
internal politics drama, which is really interesting to watch. And like a lot of a different take on it, because it's kind of hard to do something with Luke Cage, you know, like he's invincible, and that's it.
Yeah.
So
I think that they've done a good job with it. I think it's just too slow of a burn for what I want to do right now.
Right.
Because I think that's like it's more intellectual than a lot of the other Marvel shows. And that's probably what Thel is likes about it. But at this point in time, it takes like effort to watch a little bit. And like I've just been so distracted by other stuff that I you know what I've been watching? I've watched all of Game of Thrones in the last 2.5 weeks. So, you know, I don't know. So yeah, I'll get back to Luke Cage, and it's actually like the next thing I'm planning on watching. I watched all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too before Luke Cage because it came out the same time as Luke Cage, and I had been following Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for kind of a while.
Right.
That is a series that just gets better over time.
Remember, I think we watched the first couple of episodes of of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in the very first episode, there was a big buff black guy who had some kind of power that made his skin invulnerable. And we were both like, oh shit, is this Luke Cage? It's Luke Cage. Is that Luke Cage? And it wasn't Luke Cage. It was just some black kid who had invulnerable skin, but not Luke Cage.
Well, the funny thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is it's technically in the same universe as all of the other Marvel shit.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of funny because one of the in Daredevil, his father got beat up by Creel, right?
Yeah.
Creel is the guy who killed his father. Creel is a regular character in not a regular character, but an on again, off again character in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he like his ability is literally he like turns himself into metal and shit.
Jeez.
So it's just funny how like there's this character who they talk about occasionally in this show, but like is a character in this show. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has done such a good job of integrating itself with like the Marvel series, like the movie series. Like when Winter Soldier came out, it totally changed the way that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ran. Like, for kind of obvious reasons.
Yeah, obviously.
Because Winter Soldier, S.H.I.E.L.D. basically ended. Because, and then, like, Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. were fighting in Winter Soldier. Well, the effects of that were felt very heavily in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This last season, I don't, like, I've looked around and it's gotten really great reviews. It has some of the best critical response of the whole series. I didn't like it quite as much as the previous couple of seasons, but I can see where they're coming from.
Right.
I thought the last episode was like a series finale. I thought they were actually wrapping it up. The last episode is literally titled The End. But it turns out there's another season, and the guy who plays Phil Coulson is going to appear in Miss Marvel. So I don't know.
Weird.
That's a series that, like, if you can make it through the first half of season 1, the show really starts to pick up. The first season is like the worst season. And every season gets like progressively better until like it hits its stride around season 3 and 4. As in, like, hits its stride as in it's, like, fucking god. Like, awesome.
Yeah. Good. Do they have some bigger superheroes or villains in there?
I think the biggest character... well, I mean, they have their own villains.
Right.
The biggest, like, actual character that they have... well, Samuel L. Jackson appeared in it, like, twice as Nick Fury. Phil Coulson is technically in the movies too. He's like the main character of the show, one of the main characters of the show. And then there's also Sif from Thor appears a couple times.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And then there's a lot of like characters you know of, like from the comics that appear, but a lot of times they don't really cross over with like big actors.
Right.
Other than like a couple of cameos from Nick Fury. And even then, that's kind of stopped since season 2, because, or no, I think the last time it showed him was around the Hydra stuff, maybe. But he, like, in the show or in the movies, he's kind of gone underground, and it for the same reasons he's like underground in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I don't know.
Right.
And you know, as of Infinity War. We know where Nick Fury's at right now.
Yeah.
The sad thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. though is they tied the last of it to Infinity War a little bit, because part of the reason why there were aliens in the last season of S.H.I.E.L.D. was because Thanos was coming to destroy the world.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's Thanos? It's like, that's a problem for later.
Who's Thanos? Nobody cares. He probably won't do anything drastic.
We'll deal with that later. But they didn't have the part at the end of Infinity War. The part at the end of Infinity War didn't tie in with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was kind of sad.
The Miss Marvel reveal?
No, the other big thing in Infinity War.
Yeah, the thing
that happens in Infinity War. Yeah.
The thing that we all knew was going to happen in Infinity War.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, I don't even know if we should even bother trying to spoiler it anymore, because it's like
a
we talk about Marvel
now.
Shit so much, and if people haven't seen Infinity War by now, there's no way they care about what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Like if even if you don't care about most Marvel movies, or if you're like, I'll skip some of them. If you haven't seen Infinity War, then you really don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Luke Cage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good tangent.
Yeah. One of the things that I talked about with the first season of Luke Cage, that I made jokes about, it's like a wire light in the background of the superhero show. This show is it's like a wire light. Also, there's a superhero in it sometimes. Yeah, it's
true. It really is
there's this gang war, but also one of the gangsters is super strong and can beat up Luke Cage. That comes up sometimes, That's helpful for while he's trying to take over Harlem.
Sometimes he doesn't beat up Luke Cage because he wants to do something else.
Because currently the other bad guy is in the runnings for who is the worst piece of shit asshole in the show.
Yeah.
And one of the best things that the thing that I really left me on, the way that the show ended, or this season ended at least, it ended on a very, very good note that I really love it when shows do this, where the entire series could have just ended right there and I would be fine with it and it would have had a real nice ending. But if they do go on to do a season 3 and they explore how it ended, then we get some real good shit in season 3.
I am disappointed about one thing that happened, and we know this from canon was going to happen, but from current world canon, but they killed Biggie Smalls.
Goddamn.
And I'm so sad about that.
Yeah, rest in peace. He was my favorite character that never showed up in Luke Cage.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was
You'll
great.
See.
Yeah, it was it was a great show. It might be my favorite thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's really, really good.
It's really damn good. And where the only place they have to go into season 3 is up, because season 3, really the only thing that could happen. Well, there's two things that could happen. One will be the good route where Luke kind of has to deal with the consequences of stuff that happened in season 2, and the other route is the Hand Ninjas attack Luke Cage.
and based on this season, I don't think they're gonna go with number 2.
Based on this season, that is a possibility.
The problem with the Hand was not the Hand. It was the writer of Iron Fist. Because the Hand was fine as it appeared in parts of
Defenders?
Well, parts of
parts of Daredevil?
Yeah, Daredevil. Okay. Keep in mind that the Hand had been in Daredevil before Elektra showed up.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the Hand was fine in Daredevil for pretty much everything until the second half of the second season.
Okay.
And it was decent in Defenders. Just because it was dog shit garbage in Iron Fist does not make the Hand just awful overall.
I would say that all of the stuff with Stick in season 1 of Daredevil was the worst parts of season 1 of Daredevil.
It was the worst parts, but season 1 of Daredevil.
I don't think it was the worst parts. I don't know. That's just a disagreement. I just think you don't like the character, I guess.
I think that it wasn't like the worst from a standpoint. It was less interesting than everything else was going on. I don't think it was the worst. Like it was a decline in quality. I just think it was much less interesting than his conflict with Kingpin.
Yeah.
Well, sure, but it was kind of world building. At that point, I thought that was fine. It's just how they handled it at the second half of. I don't think it was even necessarily bad that they wanted the hand in season 2 of Daredevil. It's just that they executed it really poorly in balancing Elektra and Punisher.
Yeah.
Because those both... Honestly, they should have just had Punisher for a whole season and then Elektra for a whole season.
And then focus, they didn't have much focus there.
Like, if they built up, Elektra's relationship with Matt and the hand and whatever and really jumped into it like head first, it probably would have been fine. But the fact that they went from this huge ass conflict with kind of what turned into the star of the show with Punisher, and then went to this much less interesting conflict that had nothing to do with that in the middle of a season, like that's what my issue with it. So it's not that I dislike the hand and how it's been represented. It's just that they have been poorly executing it every time the hand shows up.
Yeah, and it was fine in Defenders because it was like that
was the whole focus.
That was the whole. Not only was that the whole focus, but it's sort of like it was like is a group of superheroes get together and beat up the magic ninjas, and it was like, yeah, all right, that's great.
It's like cool. That's great.
It didn't feel like it was magic ninjas encroaching on interesting political dialogue.
Right.
So I don't know, like.
Yeah.
I think if the other way they could have done it is just had, Matt or Elektra and Punisher in the same season without going from one conflict to another conflict. If they just sprinkled in Elektra throughout the whole thing and had Punisher be like the overarching conflict, then there would be like a plot and a subplot, and it would have been fine. But instead, it was like they wrapped up the major part of the A plot with Punisher in the first 4 episodes. And sure, the second half of season 1, it kind of flipped it. It's like it turned the subplot into the A plot and the A plot into the B plot. And it's like suddenly Punisher's in jail talking to Kingpin, and there's like this other stuff in the background happening. When it's like, no, that's the interesting stuff. Why are you focusing on Elektra right now?
Let us watch Punisher talk to Kingpin and escape from prison. I know this is Daredevil, but shit.
Yeah, it was like and all of like the Punisher like all the lawyer stuff that like Matt Murdock wasn't doing because he was dicking off with Elektra, that he was sort of shelving onto Foggy and Lady.
And that's another thing. Foggy shows up in like all of the goddamn, well, not all of them, but many of the goddamn shows. And every time, Foggy is just great. I love Foggy.
Yeah, Foggy is the best character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He's funny.
Foggy's the greatest superhero.
We love him.
I also like
lawyer.
I also
the power of attorney.
I also like the lawyer from Jessica Jones as well.
Which one was that?
Oh yeah, that lady. Yeah, I know.
I forget her name.
The lesbian lawyer lady.
But she pops up in a few of them. She's actually in a significant amount of Iron Fist.
She's in Punisher too, isn't she?
A little bit, not nearly as much. The other girl who's like the love interest for Matt Murdock is in Iron Fist, or not Iron Fist, in Punisher.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think she shows up in Punisher. The other girl shows up in Punisher.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know, like it. If you're gonna like focus on the crime drama of Punisher, make that just all of it, right?
Yeah.
It just feels like they tried to do too much, like at the same time.
And it's like they felt like they had like a bunch of like interesting stuff going on, right? But they had to put Matt Murdock in the Daredevil costume and have him do superhero stuff. And that's what I really liked about Luke Cage, is they at no point felt like they had to do that with Luke Cage. It was like, Luke Cage is dealing with Harlem and how it's got problems. Well, and it sucks.
I feel like they could have found better reasons to put him in the into his costume. Like, it's not that he didn't. It's not like they had to force him into being, Daredevil.
Yeah,
they could have just done it better. Like, that's the problem.
No, Frank Castle escaped from prison. We have to, as the police, go and find him, and we need a great lawyer to prosecute him. Oh, I'll get right on it. Puts on the mask. Like,
or like he has to be Daredevil to find information about Punisher's case or something. Like, there could have been plenty of reasons for him to done stuff. It just, I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah.
And I thought even like, they could have fixed it two ways. They could have either had the hand stuff be this subplot that's like, this other stuff is, like, this main stuff is happening, but every now and then it's like, why are we seeing all this weird ninja stuff? Why is this woman with size around? Like, they could have sprinkled that in throughout the series, and it would have felt like world building. Instead, it felt like a distraction. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even when Luke Cage, when that Asian woman from Iron Fist shows up in Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
She's better written in Luke Cage there by so much. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's actually like a
Probably
interesting.
has the best writing team.
Yeah.
I know that Thel doesn't like it, but I still say Jessica Jones has a really good writing too. I thought season 2 was really good, actually.
Like better than season 1?
I liked season 1 better, but I could see an argument for season 2 being better. In terms of writing quality, there were a lot of interesting things that were happening in season 2 versus season 1, which is season 1 was more about her beating people up, where season 2 was about Jessica. So
being a detective, or just about her in general?
No, about her in general. About her past. About stuff that they allude to in season 1, but they go into it in season 2.
Yeah.
Right.
I
don't know.
I'm like, I know that Thel's not in. Thel, I know you're not interested in season 2 of Jessica Jones that much, but I kind of want you to watch it just so that we can talk about it. Because I want to see where you're at with it. Because you might like it a lot better, or you might hate it, and I'm not sure. So
I don't know if this is spoilers, so if it is, feel free just to tell me it's spoilers. But who is the villain in season 2 of Jessica Jones?
That is a big spoiler.
Big spoiler, gotcha.
I don't want to reveal it because it's interesting.
Okay.
Luke Cage. It's a guy in a
Jessica
Halloween
Jones. Jessica Jones is the villain of her own story.
It's a guy in a Halloween mask with a pneumatic arm. That runs around screaming, "I'm Luke Cage! I'm Luke Cage! It was me who did this crime!"
The villain of season 2 is so well handled. It's not even fun. Like, that's probably the most interesting thing about season 2 is the villain for me.
Oh, good. That was the most interesting thing about season 1. Like, I had no problem finishing Jessica Jones, unlike like Iron Fist, because I really like Purple Man.
It's a different kind of good, though. So I don't want to like compare it, because the best thing about season 1 was Purple Man and everything, and like his whole thing. He was so like charismatic and interesting that it made all of it more interesting. And it helped
that he was played by David Tennant doing it.
That was part of it. That was a big part of it, I thought. Like, season 2, it's not that the villain's interesting because of how the villain does things. The villain's interesting because of who and what she is, more so than anything. So it's hard to explain without like you seeing it.
Spoiler.
Yeah, without like spoiling kind of the biggest part of it. I would say it starts off weak. Not weak, but it starts off weaker than it ends up. So I like don't watch only a couple episodes and give up on it. Like, watch the whole thing. Like, if you're going to commit to it, commit to the whole thing, cuz like I almost at one point I thought that it was like not as good as season 1, and by the second half of it I was like, okay, it's really like up there with it. Right. So
that's kind of how Jessica Jones started too. It was a slow burn until Purple Man showed up.
And maybe the Marvel like Netflix television thing is sort of like after they've gotten done with Defenders, they're just like, okay, well, we did that. We can do whatever we want now, kind of.
Yeah.
So let's do whatever we want, and so they don't feel like they're held down by like having to prepare for specifically Defenders or like what.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced because where they're leading seems to be into Heroes for Hire, which is the team up book. It's the team up detective book between Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Misty Knight, and Jessica Jones on and off. So
Jessica Jones on and off, yeah. That sounds. I mean, it sounds right? But
yeah.
I don't necessarily. We don't know about them doing it for sure, but it looks like that's what.
So because of where Luke Cage left off in season 2, it would feel really weird to do Heroes for Hire now.
Immediately after, yeah.
Because Luke Cage is not in a position where he could be like, or even really would need to be like a hero for hire.
Yeah.
So it's a little.
Well, Heroes for Hire was not. It's not like they needed to do it for money or anything. It's not like. I don't really know what you're referring to. Obviously,
I guess Danny Rand isn't really in a position where he
they just
to...
kind of they're heroes for hire, but it's not really about money. It's just about them fucking around and helping people as a team and being kind of like an ad hoc detective agency for people who need superheroes involved. So which makes sense why Jessica's part of it and Misty Knight's part of it, but because they're not really like big guns anyway.
Yeah.
You know what'd be great with Heroes for Hire, right? If they brought in Kingpin from Daredevil and had him team up with Shades from Luke Cage, and that was the villains of Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Kingpin gets out of jail and just hires Shades.
And Shades is like, I don't know if I want to work for you. How much money you got?
Do you know what's kind of sad about this whole? The worst thing about this, the most unfortunate thing about this whole like Marvel Netflix series is that they have going on is it's like they have all of these interesting ground level characters, and the one character missing from all of it is Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is a ground level hero. He's the most popular Marvel character, but he's a ground level character. He has to get movies and he has to do big things, but it seems like it would be perfect for him to be like on the same level with these guys, you know? Doing the same kind of things.
I feel like they could do something really interesting with Spider-Man, on like the Netflix thing, because it's like with the last Spider-Man movie, Homecoming was like a high school movie, but every once in a while he was Spider-Man. If they just like made a show about a kid in the middle of Brooklyn, just just fucking living his life and being Spider-Man, I feel like that would make for a great Netflix series.
I think the only reason they kind of can't do Spider-Man for Netflix is just because they don't want to have him web swinging.
Yeah.
Like, I think the web swinging, well, other than the obvious implications of like. He's the most important character in Marvel's history. He has to have movies. But like I don't know. It's just I think that like they don't want to CGI him swinging around. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, fair enough.
If they're willing to have that god awful door smashing animation in Iron Fist, then there's no way they want to pay for web swinging.
Yeah.
There was a part of Luke Cage where somebody got lit on fire,
and it looked really, really bad.
It looked bad,
but it was like okay because the scene was good.
Yeah, the scene was good, so we didn't even like. I didn't even like notice it at the time. I don't know. Thel may have, but I didn't even notice it or say anything. I kind of like noticed it, but I was like more interested in what was going on than the terrible CGI.
Yeah. Another part was at the end of Luke Cage season, or no, at the end of Defenders. Where it first shows Misty Knight's stump.
Misty
Knife. When it shows her stump, it looks so bad.
Yeah.
It looked like I don't know. It was noticeably bad, but it was like, well, Defenders has been good, and it's it's fine, right?
Like, yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, it looks bad, but you know, that's not like that's like a nitpick.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the stuff looks pretty good in Luke Cage.
No, yeah, they did a much better job in Luke Cage making it look better. It's just there was some weird CGI going on at the end of Defenders that was really noticeable to me.
Yeah,
so.
And then like once she gets her cybernetic arm, like it's I think that's practical.
Well, yeah, it had
so it's easy.
It would be way easier to make it practical because then you just need to make a costume arm. They did it with Winter Soldier, can't be that hard, right?
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes people just do weird CGI instead.
Yeah, they do that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. quite a bit. There's a lot of CGI that looks not great in S.H.I.E.L.D., but what are you gonna do? I don't know.
Exactly.
Certain things just don't lend itself to CGI. Like metal is one of them. Metal always looks weird as hell when it's CGI.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you do go full practical.
Yeah.
Or do if you do, even if you do a mixture, sometimes it comes out okay. But I don't know.
Yeah. Luke Cage is great. Season 2 of Luke Cage is great. If you had any hang-ups with the Season 1 of Luke Cage, it's better than that.
Definitely. I didn't think season 1 of Luke Cage was particularly bad, but it's definitely better than
I felt like Season 1 of Luke Cage, like I was really sour on it when it came out because it had a huge fall off.
Yeah.
It was like Cottonmouth was like crazy, a good villain who just went crazy because Luke Cage was fucking up everything. And it's like, Diamondback's coming. We don't want to fuck around with Diamondback. He's the real deal. This motherfucker.
Diamondback puts on a Power Ranger suit.
Well, not only that, but like throughout the entire like series, Diamondback is the dumbest asshole.
Yeah.
He has an intelligence score of 1. Motherfucker, Shade actually, the fuck, do you actually think this plan would work?
Yeah.
Who the hell you think you're talking to? I'm Diamondback. I don't know what the hell's going on at any point in time.
Some idiot. I'm going to work for the crazy fucking mayor.
Yeah, screw this. This is dumb. You're dumb and I hate you. I'm out. Bye. You can dress up like a Power Ranger as much as you want.
You know, I haven't seen all of season 2 yet, but I did so far. I liked season 1 more, but there's still plenty of season to go.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
If you haven't gotten to the part where Misty Knight like does get her robot arm, like I don't feel like that's big spoilers because that happens pretty early in the season.
Yeah, it also happens in the comic books.
So episode 4 is a third of the season, right? And it hasn't happened by episode 4, so. Yeah. But anyway, It sounds like it probably happens at the midway point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So, like, I liked Luke Cage season 1 quite a bit, though.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually, like, I can forgive the Diamondback shit because I just forget about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I just remember all of the Cottonmouth stuff, and I don't even remember the Diamondback stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and it felt like this season 2 of Luke Cage forgot about Diamondback too.
I don't know. In a way, it almost feels like they're trying to make good on Diamondback because they have all of that relationship with the father, and that was tied heavily into who Diamondback was. And it's like, every time the father comes, I'm like, oh my god, this guy again.
Yeah. He's kind of a dick.
I mean, maybe interesting stuff happens with it later, but like so far it's just like, oh, okay.
A little bit. Yeah. That's the one thing that really doesn't go into very interesting places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. So far, I'm totally with Luke Cage, and it's like, come on, Claire Temple, fucking get off the father thing. Like, his father essentially betrayed him in his mind. Don't force it. Sometimes it's just better to not have family in your life. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes family is too toxic and you need to stay away.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Luke Cage. I have complicated feelings about all of the Marvel shows.
Yeah, fair enough. Except Iron Fist. That's pretty uncomplicated. It was bad.
Yeah, it is bad.
No, if anything, that's the most complicated for me, because it's like, I hate it, but there were pieces of it that were good that were ruined by being in a
It's pretty complicated for me, too, because I love Iron Fist. He's like my favorite C-list superhero.
I'm sitting here like, Lamau show was shit. Throw it in the garbage. Don't even give a shit. Who cares? Fuck it.
Then they gave him a whole season of Inhumans, and I'm like, at least they finally learned.
I thought they canceled that show.
They did.
Oh.
He made a whole season first.
Yeah.
Oh.
They didn't even air the whole season. They canceled it before even the whole season.
I thought you meant they gave Iron Fist the whole season of Inhumans, and it didn't make sense to me, but...
Yeah.
No, the writer-director from Iron Fist wrote and directed Inhumans, and that's... You see a trend here?
Inhumans was so bad.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
So I don't know.
Why?
It's easier for me to ask Thel to power through Jessica Jones than it is for me to tell you to power through Iron Fist. But there are pieces that are good in Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Maybe you know, maybe just have Iron Fist playing in the background while you're doing something else in place of Simpsons. And you don't have to pay that close attention to it, but there are decent pieces of it.
I would rather have Jessica Jones playing in the background, honestly.
Or just The Simpsons. Yeah. Luke Cage, good. Luke Cage, very good.
That is the whole point of what we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
Before we go to break, can I go through a couple of games real quick that I played?
I just have one last question about Luke Cage.
Okay.
Where would you put season 2 overall for you?
Over like what?
Over like Daredevil and
it's my favorite one.
It's your favorite
I
one?
would say Luke Cage is my favorite. Like I said, it's my favorite thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It edged out what you liked about Kingpin in season 1 of Daredevil?
It edged just a little bit because I liked both Mariah and Bushmaster here. It was like we had two really, really good villains where Daredevil only had one, you know, I guess like whereas everything else couldn't balance it, this balanced it really, really well, and they were all like completely understandable but still horrible.
Well, I think season 1 balanced it fine for Daredevil, but
I mean, no. I mean, like where, like the previous seasons of these shows have tried to have like multiple villains and have failed. Yeah, season 1 of Daredevil, was still. Don't get me wrong, still fucking fantastic.
That was previously your Heads and Tails first, right?
Yeah, well, it was almost like that versus Punisher because I really, really, really liked Punisher.
I liked Punisher quite a bit. How about you, Dalsson?
I think I'm still. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember Daredevil had parts of it where I just completely stuck because whenever I watch something, you know, I'm pretty good at splitting my focus. So I'll be playing some non-intensive game like Warframe where I can just turn off my brain and shoot at whatever and watch the show.
Just
right?
Grind.
So I remember points in time in Daredevil where I like straight up just stopped doing anything else and put it on my main monitor and just watched it because it was so like powerful and or just such a good scene like that old boy style fight scene that was incredible and I just wanted to see the whole action.
Yeah.
Whereas in Luke Cage, you know, it was like a lot of internal political drama and a lot of people talking and stuff, and there were some action scenes and stuff. It was really good, but I want to say that Daredevil season 1 is still probably my favorite.
Fair enough.
For Luke Cage season 2, it's kind of a toss up between that and Punisher because Punisher was also really good and it had a lot of similar notes that it hit.
Okay, so I was just curious on that. So games, it's awesome.
Yeah, a couple of games. So I actually tried out a few twin stick shooters that I had been getting through Keymailer.
Ooh.
Because I like Enter the Gungeon so much, I guess. So the first one I want to talk about is Last Encounter. May not have heard of it. It's a tiny indie game. You know, they haven't really gotten big yet. But it essentially Last Encounter is a twin stick shooter space game. So it's got like, you know, it's essentially like a fast paced asteroids, right? you pick your ship, which has like some have more shields which regenerate, some have more health, some are faster, and each of them has a type of base bullet that they have, and then a special ability. Like one of them can cloak or whatever, and all of them can do like this dodge shift thing. So it has a similar mechanic to Enter the Gungeon where you can kind of like dodge out of the way of stuff. The most of the base abilities aren't very decent. I don't know whether you get more abilities because I haven't gotten that far in the game, but one of the interesting mechanics, and this is something that I always like about those like top-down shooters, is that you can pick up new weapons, right? And instead of when you pick up new weapons, so you can pick up base shots. There's like shotgun shell, there's regular bullet, and then there's beam weapon. Whenever you pick up a new weapon, it does not just give you a new weapon to play with. It modifies whatever base weapon you have. So you could have like a submachine gun laser beam, or you could have like a sniper rifle laser beam that has no damage fall off. And you can eventually unlock a second slot to get like 2 modifiers. So you could have a shotgun that fires as fast as a machine gun and is also a laser beam. So I could see you getting a lot of really interesting combos with that. The problem that I had with this game, that I didn't play it for very long, was just that it didn't seem super compelling. So essentially what you do is you go into like one little stage and then you warp around stages until you find a key to the next floor. I only got to like floor 3, and each of them have unique tile sets and unique enemies to play with. So there is some interesting stuff going on. I just feel like maybe, I don't know if they're still developing it. I didn't actually read much, but I feel like it could use a little more development. And there is a layer of meta progression. Maybe if I played it more, maybe it was the same thing maybe that you may have been experiencing with Enter the Gungeon, saying if I played it more, I might have unlocked more interesting things to do. But a lot of the levels felt very samey. The main draw, I feel, of this game would be to experiment with different combinations of weapons.
Yeah, looking at it doesn't look that interesting to me at all.
Yeah, it's pretty neat and flashy, but it's not something I probably would sink a whole lot of time on. And then the other one was called To Hell with Hell, which is a game where you play as the spawn of Satan.
Oh, good.
But you didn't know that you were the spawn of Satan, and so Satan calls you to hell because hell has been overthrown. And he's like, hey, save me. They overthrew hell. And you're like, what? Who the hell are you? And he's like, I'm Satan. And you're like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm your dad. So it's really, really, really terrible justification for a storyline right there. It also has a few interesting things going on, but again, it's like, one of the problems I have with that game is that it's very, very zoomed out and very pixelated, so it's kind of hard to see what you're shooting at any given time. They do have an interesting mechanic called masks. So in each level, you will find a mask, which you can switch between them at will, and each mask gives you like an extra health bar. When that health bar breaks, your mask is broken. But the masks give you different abilities. So what you kind of want to do is hold on to each one of your masks until like they get really low on health, and then maybe just switch to them for the ability every once in a while. But the more masks you have, the more health you have, the easier the game gets, and you have like dodge rolls. Some of them give you like an invulnerability, like just stand there and turn to stone or something. Some of them give you just like AoE screen clear. It's really cool. And now for the problem that I had with that game. The problem that I had with that game is all of the weapons feel awful. None of them feel like they're interesting. I got like a machine gun, which did jack shit. It did no damage, and its spread was too high to hit anything. There was a shotgun, which is great in Enter the Gungeon because the bullets are like easy to dodge when you are like focusing on it. Whereas in this game, it's like, if you get close enough with a shotgun to do anything valid with a shotgun, you're just going to get hit. There's no two ways about it. You're going to get hit every time you try to kill something with a shotgun. And then, like, the base weapon is just like a pistol that you go pop, 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 pop. And that was the best weapon in the whole game that I found because you could just shoot accurately from a long distance and be able to dodge the bullets. So, both of those games that I played had some issues with them that I think could use resolving. Like, just kind of like buff up the fun factor a little bit, like towards the beginning of the game if you're going to go with this meta progression. To Hell with Hell also had this strange mechanic where you got like you had to start on easy difficulty and then work your way up, and all the difficulties do is give you more saves. So you can like save in the middle of the things and reset from a certain point instead of resetting from the beginning, which I don't know if I actually like that. Yeah. So the difficulty, like I would rather just play on the hardest difficulty setting from the get-go and not have any saves. The save aspect just makes it feel like, oh well, I saved at this spot and I have really shitty weapons at this spot, so I just have to restart the game anyway. So it's like, why even have the saves?
Besides, you can hardly remember to quick save in Fallout.
Well, the way that it works is at the beginning of each level, it's like, would you like to save here? So it's like, I guess if you get like a really good run and you have good masks and a good weapon, then it's like, yeah, I want to save here so I can restart from here. But it's like, part of the fun of those games for me is restarting from scratch. It's like, if I have a really good run, how far can I get with that really good run? I don't want to like start over from like when I've already gotten the good run, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I already have the good run. Like, I'm either going to win or it's not going to be good enough. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I think most of these top-down shooters aren't great anyway. Yeah. I just generally don't really like the genre that much anyway, but I don't like Gungeon, but Gungeon is better than most, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's coming from someone who didn't really like Gungeon, so I don't know.
Oh, there is one last thing. I started a new run in Darkest Dungeon with the new DLC. It adds a...
Oh, you did get the new
I
DLC.
did.
Okay,
it adds a new...
Play on it with it.
Yeah. It adds a new section called the Farmstead, which is different from most of the dungeons. So what the Farmstead is you get into one fight, and when you kill an enemy at the start of a next turn, it respawns all of those enemies. And it's kind of just an endurance run in one single fight, and you have to kill enough enemies to like banish that particular area, and then you get like huge rewards at the end. And it feels like it's really good for leveling up your characters because you're not running through and suffering that stress and stuff that you're not like going through dungeons and suffering stress and like getting downsides from curios. If you play risky, you don't have to manage your torch. Yeah. It feels like it's really good for like leveling a character that may not be the best character to bring into a dungeon because their stress resist isn't good enough and they'll just stress out and have a heart attack.
Yeah.
That said, it ramps up in difficulty really fast every time you beat it, so it gets pretty hard pretty fast. But towards the beginning of the game, it's good, and it's like a fun spin on the rest of the dungeons, you know?
Yeah.
Just like one endurance run fight. It's pretty cool.
That does sound like it might be kind of a fun addition. And yeah, that would be one of the things that I would like to do because
it also adds a couple of little interesting things, like for doing that type of mission, you get a currency called shards, which you can buy like basically cursed items, which do something really bad, but also something really good for trinkets on your guys. And yeah, it also adds madness. The expansion is called The Color of Madness. So previously, when you filled out on stress the first time, you would either become virtuous and get a buff, or more likely become bad and become sinful, or I don't remember what they call it, and just stress out the rest of your party. And if you get a character that's like that, your run is basically over and you have to go home. The third option is
I've had all of my characters gain bad things and still completed the run. They weren't happy about it, but we got through.
The third option now is madness, where random shit will happen. It's just random shit. Sometimes the mad character will pull out your torch and just extinguish it. Sometimes the mad character will heal an enemy. Sometimes the mad character who is not a healer will heal your entire party for 12 health. Like, it just adds another RNG bullshit thing, which is sometimes fun. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, good DLC for Darkest Dungeon, as usual.
Thanks, Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon.
All right. I think that's all we have to talk about this week, so we're gonna go to a break.
Yep. Maybe 10 minutes?
I don't want to go that long. Can we just go to 5:25?
Sure. 5 minutes should be enough.
All right. We'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we're for sure unmuted this week.
Hooray!
I forgot to talk about Mission Impossible. Okay.
Oh no!
Unmuted this week.
I'm probably gonna see it this week. We could hold it off.
I don't have very complicated thoughts about it.
Okay.
I'll just go real quick.
Okay.
So, everyone said it was good, and it was good.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
The trailer did a really good job of not giving anything away, but still showing the spirit of what the movie is. But I think actually the trailer is pretty misleading in the best possible way.
Oh, good.
The movie's less. I thought so. Going into the movie, I was under the impression that this was like a continuation of events that happened in the previous movie. Turns out that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's all the same characters and stuff, and that there's some like ties across the the series, but it was like it's not like the last movie's events directly impacted this movie's events like I thought it was. It's just like this movie is self-contained, so it is really good. Don't really have complicated thoughts about it though. It's pretty straightforward. Like it was a spy movie. It was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They did neat stuff. Tom Cruise got to run a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, everything was hitting on all cylinders. Okay.
Yeah. Excellent.
So, why don't we talk about news?
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be a lot of game stories this week.
There is a lot of stuff to talk about with movies.
Surprisingly.
Why don't we do games first? Just get out of the way.
Okay.
Okay, the first thing is De Nouveau. So, a famous Bulgarian hacker, notable for cracking De Nouveau often and early, pretty consistently, got arrested by the Bulgarian police, and it sounds like he's not going to prison or anything for it, but he has to stop cracking software.
Right.
This did not stop him from releasing a lengthy tutorial about how to do it,
which is already taken down on YouTube, for the record.
Yeah, but of course it was uploaded
Plenty
to Mega.
Plenty of people seeing it.
Oh, it was up for long enough for it to exist everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, De Nouveau is not the greatest software, but this is still piracy, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of
De Nouveau is a
pretty
area. Shit software. It mostly just ruins games, including. I didn't put this in the news stories, but Monster Hunter World on PC apparently has a crashing problem because it's overloading high-end CPUs. They're good. They know. They say they know what the issue is. They say they are going to fix it before release. I believe that they will fix it before release because they caught it more than a week out, and they say they know what the issue is, but I have a feeling that De Nouveau is involved somehow.
Yeah,
I mean,
De Nouveau does that.
It didn't have a problem with that. Like, I don't think any, like, problem was recorded on consoles. I mean, sure, they were, like, optimized specifically for the console hardware, but...
Well, consoles don't crash very often.
Yeah.
Console games just don't crash very often anyway.
Yeah.
Unless they're early access games, which is funny.
I think it was crashing sometimes on PS4, but it wasn't nearly. The article was saying that the early review copy he got was crashing every like hour or so, which is like heart crushing if it happens in the middle of a hunt.
Well, yeah, I don't know necessarily that Denuvo's involved, but Denuvo is a piece of software, anti-piracy software that does often hurt performance in various ways. So I like crashing, who knows, but like it at the very least it will probably hurt frame rates by 10 to 15 frames per second at least.
Yeah.
Or worse depending. So, you know, like this is a Capcom game though, and even when they do use Denuvo, generally Capcom has pretty good ports. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, like my computer isn't exactly the best. I'm running on like a 660. I was able to run Resident Evil 7 just fine.
Yeah, especially since they caught it before release. It's not like something that happened at release and millions of people are complaining about it. It's like a bunch of early review copies were having this issue, and so you know, I have faith that they'll actually like fix the issues. They already have a fix in the pipes. So.
And PC is like one of those one of those platforms that you can't test against every hardware configuration. So something that you may not have realized was going to affect things can affect hundreds of thousands of people. But hundreds of thousands of people aren't the same as the millions of people playing on PC. So
right, exactly.
Yeah, No Man's Sky got this huge update that changed a bunch of things, and its concurrents are up to 100,000 on Steam this weekend.
Which is, like, insane, because I'm pretty sure its concurrent before this update was, like, in the hundreds.
A lot of people played it on release.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's this week's concurrent.
Yeah.
Like,
and not only that, one thing that I actually checked, like, while we were doing the podcast, while we were talking about, like, some stuff on the podcast, just now I checked, it has gone from mostly negative to mixed in, like, a couple of days.
Which is actually really impressive. Like, mixed normally...
it's very impressive.
Mixed normally shows, like, is like, uh-oh, that's a bad thing. We gotta actually read the reviews to see if it was good and got bad, or was bad and got good. When it goes from bad to mixed, that's a good sign.
Yeah, and that's
really surprising.
That's across all reviews. Recent reviews have all been very positive.
Yeah.
Wow. Which is, like, that's crazy, because No Man's Sky was, like, that was such a flop that people who don't make fun of video games flops made fun of it. Like,
it's also, it doesn't help that it's also on sale for 50% off, which puts it at $30.
Let's be real. That's what the game should have cost the entire time.
I might pick up No Man's Sky and give it a shot.
I might too.
Okay. All right. I still have like I might want to do a video about like checking to see if they had made it any better, but before I do that, there's another video on another game that's another space sim that I want to do about whether or not they've made it better. I need to go back to X Rebirth.
Oh.
This thing on from this article on PC Gamer, it says reviews on Steam have risen from mostly negative to mixed, which makes me think of the episode of Arrested Development with Blue Stock roast from sell to don't buy.
Yeah, that's funny. Some of the interesting things that it looks like they have decided to do is push it as a platform style game. It has what they want to do. They set up a framework for releasing weekly content and community events, which will be free, no microtransaction, no like little buy-in things. Everybody who takes part in these community events can unlock new rewards and new customizations, which they will be making like per event. Weekly events is something that really helps the player base. I feel like people want to, like, even if you come and play for like
helps
a week,
keep a player base anyway.
Keep a player base. Yeah, if you come and play for like a week or 2 weeks and you're like, this is getting kind of boring, then they come out with a new event and you're like, wow, that reward looks pretty dope. Maybe I'll play for a few hours. Like, even if you only play for a few hours, it still gives longevity to a game. I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe they might be actually.
Oh. Bell's cutting out again. Oh. Something's happening. I can't hear anything.
Which was one of the problems with the game, like marked regional hubs, which... Hello.
Hi, I died.
I think it was me who died because I couldn't hear either of you for
Weird.
a moment.
Okay, so additionally, they have interestingly enough, they have key regional hubs which are like marked.
You have to start over because you cut out too for me. So
yeah.
Oh, well, that's what I was. That's where I started from.
Okay.
They have key regional hubs which are like marked, and people can like actually meet up, and maybe if you, I don't know, but maybe if you like launch from there, you can play together with some rando that you pick up, which would be pretty neat. Because one of the interesting things that
and they added multiplayer. That might be a good thing to like mention.
Yeah, which is one of the things they originally tried to sell No Man's Sky on.
Kind of.
Yeah, you know. Looks pretty good. There's also there's like a list of full patch notes if you care to look it up. I don't think it's worth linking or reading them all off, but there's a bunch of cool stuff. Yeah. Procedurally generated technology upgrades instead of flat upgrades. I don't know. Neat things. Reworking progression, which was a major problem with No Man's Sky. So yeah, I think it might be worth giving a shot now.
Oh, I haven't changed the topic for a while. Oh well. Digimon for their 20th anniversary is announced that they have a survival sim RPG in the works. Which is weird.
A Digimon survival sim RPG?
I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
And we have a trailer, but it's all like
meat literally grows on fucking trees in Digimon.
Yeah, that's always been the case.
How can you?
There are monsters that are literally just poop. They're poop monsters.
I don't. Okay. All right.
The Digimon games lately have actually been pretty good.
Oh yeah, mini Digimon games are good. So.
The ones on Vita in particular, the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, that was like a really good game. It was kind of like Pokemon-esque, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I don't know, but it's more about having a team than having like one Pokemon out. So, yep, Digimon's cool. I like Digimon. I wish that Digimon was more popular, but you know.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, I wish that more than one Digimon were more popular.
Yeah. Let's be real.
Okay, let's move on to movie news.
Okay. So, starting out, it looks like X-Men Dark Phoenix and New Mutants are going to be completely scrapped by Fox. Does this have anything to do with the new complete merger by Disney and Fox? Probably.
Not probably. It says that it does in the article.
Oh yeah, fair enough. And yeah, that's not super surprising, especially if they're going to bring mutants into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They were basically saying that Fox was unhappy with how the movies were progressing, and then Disney looked at the scripts and were like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah.
So they extra hated it.
I'm gonna be real. I did see like the New Mutants trailer, and it looked like they were going to make it a horror movie.
That looks cool.
When I saw like that was an interesting concept, but I was like, okay.
That's based off. I was reading it, and it's based off of a story that was horror-esque.
Okay.
A comic book story that was horror-esque. So I don't know. That looked cool.
Yeah. However, unfortunately, it looks like we won't be able to see those movies because they're throwing them in the trash. Next thing is, the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy are all defending James Gunn and think that the thing Disney did was bad and dumb.
We kind of came out and said that also this last week, basically.
Yeah, because like this wasn't there was no sexual misconduct. It was just this guy was making some lol so edgy random humor tweets in the time that lol so edgy random.
Yeah, he wasn't specifically hurting anybody. He wasn't specifically hurting a race of people. He wasn't like. Yeah. It was like
he was just being an edgy motherfucker, and he came out of trauma. So, like, what do you expect, Disney? You hired him. You knew this. You looked him up on IMDb.
We spent a lot of time on that last week, so I think it's good that the actors are supporting him, and I like he made really good movies. So
Next thing is Teen Titans season 6. Was teased by the movie.
Yeah, the Teen Titans Go movie. So,
yeah,
towards the end, in classic Marvel fashion, they did a after credit sequence, which would tease their next thing. It was the Teen Titans.
The original Teen Titans.
The original Teen Titans. Like, it was in that animation style. And essentially, it was just like a crackly message. And Robin was like, if anybody could hear this, we think we found a way back. And that was the whole trailer. And everybody was like, everybody loved that way more than they loved the movie. So
yeah, that's, yeah.
Great.
Next.
I love Teen Titans. I just want to point out, fucking phenomenal. The movie.
Can't wait for the new original Teen Titans show where they say fuck Batman.
And by Teen Titans, he means Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go. Just putting that out there
or
to clarify.
Yeah, to clarify.
Or DC's Titans, yeah.
Yeah, or DC's Titans, which is not actually going to be on the CW. It's going to be on DC's new streaming service where they can say fuck Batman as much as they want.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, I watched that trailer. You guys did not... like, you guys were saying that she was being, like, emo and edgy and stuff, but I did not realize that what you meant by that was whiny and a different character. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Raven.
I watched it and it was garbage.
When I would describe Raven, I would describe her as like a depressed goth, not as an emo. Like it gives the way that I meant was much.
I think the term emo is misleading to me because when I think of emo, I think of scene kids.
Right.
I don't
think
of
emo are two very different things.
Yeah. Well. You say that, but if you dressed like a scene kid, everyone called you emo.
Right.
Like, there's no difference from a fashion standpoint. They're the same thing. So when you were saying emo, I was thinking, well, she kind of looks that way. What?
I would say that scene is a little bit more colorful.
Yeah,
not
but
necessarily.
When, I don't know, when, people are, talking about that,
I don't think there's any real difference between scene and emo from a fashion standpoint. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it looked garbage. The costume for Starfire in particular was hot trash.
Yeah, looking at her looking like a hooker was the worst thing you could have possibly done with Starfire.
Yeah, really.
Some people
it's one of those like the worst things that you could have possibly done. Not necessarily because it is like the antithesis of the character, but it's like, wow, I never thought that they would do this because there was nothing that I could have even thought that they would think that this was a good idea, but for some reason they did this. Okay, I guess.
Some people were upset that Starfire was black.
It's like, oh, that's fine. I don't care.
I don't really care about that.
She's orange in the show. It's whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I could see though because she's not. In terms of, even build, though, she doesn't look right. You know?
Right, yeah.
Like, her body shape,
she's
Starfire's, tall and skinny, not,
Not buff and strong.
Yeah, so I thought that casting choice was weird anyway.
Yeah.
But what they did with her outfit and shit looks awful.
They turned her into a streetwalker.
I thought some of the effects for Raven looked kind of cool, but they it's a show that seems to heavily feature Raven but have her be whiny and there's this quote that's my mom said that there aren't any monsters or something, and it's who the fuck are you talking about? You of all people monster! You of all people should know that monsters are real.
Oh man, I don't know what the fuck.
So they kind of
yeah,
they kind of butchered the Titans storyline.
From how it seemed like Raven had a normal teenager girl upbringing and became emo through going through high school, and then found out she had dark powers. That's what it felt like they were portraying her with. And yeah. But
I don't know. At no point did I ever think throughout all of what I've seen of Raven and other stuff, not just Titans, but other stuff in general, anytime that I've seen Raven portrayed, I've never thought whiny.
Yeah, no.
Her voice affect is bad. It's oh, sad, and I'm unsure of herself, and it's like, no, that's like the complete opposite of Raven.
Like, she's a very dark person. She has a very dark past. She's not a happy person in the slightest.
What kind of person prepares for a show like Titans and doesn't watch like other incarnations of the character?
Yeah,
like,
or even read the comics. Like, she's never like that in the comics either. Nothing. Even in Teen Titans fucking Go, she's not a whiny emo lady.
Well, I mean, in Teen Titans Go, you know,
she acts out of character, but in different ways.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not even that. It's like it just looks like it's written like trash.
Yeah.
She sounds like the worst. Like this is it's that thing. Like I was making a joke about it in the Shazam trailer. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a kid dialogue written by a 40-year-old man. This is what a 40-year-old man like looked up emo for 3 seconds on like Google. And it's like, oh yes.
Oh yeah, I know this. Right? I know this character archetype.
Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. I wrote her in a horror movie once.
Yeah, it's a trope.
So yeah, I don't know. Like that show, and Robin shoots like 4 people with a gun and snaps someone's neck and then says "fuck Batman."
Fuck Batman.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I could. You know what? I'd be willing to give the fuck Batman the benefit of the doubt. But I can understand how maybe Robin would be a little upset if the first thing the bad guys do is go, "Where's Batman?" when you show up. I can understand that, okay? But like but fucking shooting 4 people and snapping a neck and then looking past the camera going, "Fuck Batman." That's bad.
This isn't your grandma's Batman. This is Robin.
Yeah.
So it's not even the Robin that kills people. There is a Robin that kills people. Actually, there's 2
Damian
Robins.
Wayne is like a little fucking asshole.
No, not even Damian Wayne. Jason Todd, who is the Red Hood, literally is a guy.
The villain.
He's still a vigilante. He's still a vigilante. He's just
that was the whole arc of that comic, wasn't it? It was like Batman trying to teach Damian Wayne, "Hey, don't kill people. God damn it! I know you're a weird bastard child, but stop. You can't do that." But Dad, no. That was it. That was the. It was this.
I don't know.
No, that was Damian Wayne. That was a different one.
Yeah.
That was just early comics for Damian Wayne when he was first.
Yeah, that was when he was first revealed and had his run with who was it? Who was the writer for that? It was like the not Wizard Man.
I don't know.
It's the other guy.
I don't know. There's a few of them. Anyway, so yeah, that show looks like hot garbage. I'll watch it. I'll just to see what it is. Well, actually, I won't watch it because
you ain't paying for that streaming service.
I'll watch it.
Oh.
I'll watch it. I'll find a way. But
you'll find a way. Fair enough. Next is 20th Century Fox is using AI to predict who will watch a movie from its trailer.
So here's an idea. Why don't you just make fucking good movies, Fox? Jesus Christ. What's been your problem for the last 10 years? You're spending too much on AI instead of just spending stuff on good directors.
Yeah. It was like George Lucas talked about. The game used to, back in the 70s, it was a crapshoot, right? You hired a kid who you didn't understand, who seemed like a fucking weirdo. You didn't know what he was doing, and you gave him a bunch of chips, and you told him to go to the crafts table, and he'd bring you back a bunch of money. You'd take a risk on this kid. You know, you'd work with someone who maybe was gonna do some crazy shit, but who might make you money because this crazy shit maybe played well with people. Instead, what they're doing is they're using algorithms to see whether or not the chips, like what ball of the roulette table will run on this week. Like, you know, they're trying to figure out how people are going to view their movies rather than focusing on what movies are going to be made. They're using market data and test screenings.
You know, maybe instead of spending more money on dumb shit, why don't they spend some time to reduce the costs to make movies easier to make for people?
Yeah.
Or
cost
make
less.
a bunch of smaller, lower budget movies, increasing your bet.
In fairness, Fox Searchlight does do some of that.
Yeah.
So
Fox Searchlight picks stuff up from festivals and then distributes them.
Right. Well, sure.
Rather than like funding them. What I mean is like,
well, they fund distribution and some advertisement though, which is part of the big cost of.
Yeah. Why not fund production for like smaller scripts written by directors who have like, and even you don't even need to take a big risk on it. Just find a director who has done like a good indie movie before that got really popular in like
that. Maybe you as Searchlight.
Yeah, maybe who you picked up with Searchlight, and just like fund one of his scripts and do it for not a lot of money. Or you can
give them to a low to moderate budget and just check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be good.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't. Who knows?
Yeah. And if it's not, then you didn't spend $1 billion on it trying to make $1 billion Marvel money movie. Anyway, next. First thing start. This is like this is like the same story in 2 different headlines.
Oh yeah.
MoviePass blocks users from watching Mission Impossible 6 this week.
Oh.
And MoviePass parent company stock plunges 60% after Mission Impossible meltdown.
No, you missed the key point of this whole thing. It wasn't that MoviePass was blocking people from seeing Mission Impossible. It was that they literally ran out of money and the servers went down.
Oh,
so it was a technical glitch that wouldn't let people go in because their servers were off because they didn't pay rent that month.
No money.
They ran out of money, and that's why their stock dropped.
MoviePass has been having a hit. Stocks have been dropping on all sorts of technological things. Fucking Facebook hit like the lowest stock drop of anything ever. Twitter stock dropped a little bit significantly, and fucking MoviePass now. It's like,
well, MoviePass. I think it's just
had like a direct like line to that.
No, but I think MoviePass is just becoming more and more clear that it's never going to make money.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Like their business model has never made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like unless they're hoping that people who are paying for movie tickets won't use it, which makes no sense. I don't know. When I heard about MoviePass, I was like, that does sound like a good deal, but that sounds like really unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't see how that would work, so I don't trust it. And here we are.
AMC, and with AMC and other big like movie theater house companies like doing it instead sort of does make a little bit more sense because like these are already big companies and they can fund that, and they're already making movie off the popcorn and the fucking drinks and stuff that you come in like, and it's like if you get butts into like into like a place where they can buy popcorn, there's your profit. MoviePass doesn't really have that because they don't own the theater chains.
Right.
Yeah. So next one, Walmart is gonna make a fucking streaming service. You heard that right. Me too, man. I don't fucking know what the shit, but that's what they're gonna do. Do you want to watch Walmart television? No, you can't. I guess.
Well,
so is the streaming service just their security camera feed so you can see all the weird shit that goes on at Walmart?
They're definitely going to purchase like a bunch of stuff for their streaming service.
So they got television executive Mark Greenberg, who is notable from working on HBO and Epix.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's something that for me it's like I feel like we're quickly approaching a point in time where the only way that all of these streaming services are going to survive is if they start lowering their prices pretty significantly.
Yeah.
Because what this is kind of turning into is a bunch of people all creating their own TV channels.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of cool to be able to individually buy like the equivalent of an HBO package, right?
Yeah.
But for like Netflix and Amazon and
stuff
Walmart and Disney and whatever.
Walmart Films presents.
So, but you know, the problem is when you start adding too much to this one market, I don't know how sustainable it is for everyone. Like it's not going to be. Unless you're able to really find a way to make I don't know, offerings significant, you're not gonna get anyone to subscribe. The only reason why the Disney Fox one might make it is because Disney and Fox both have huge catalogs of movies and entertainment. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And Netflix has been going so long that it's Netflix is the one that everyone.
Unlike Netflix,
using,
it's unlikely that on Netflix they get the license for things for some times and then they lose it. Whereas with Disney, once you put a fucking Disney show on Disney's streaming platform, they're probably not going to take it off of that.
Yeah.
Well, there's certain things that they'll never lose. Like, they're not going to lose the rights to their Marvel Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Or any of their other Netflix original stuff because they've helped funded it.
Yeah, but there was old Cartoon Network shows on.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're saying,
months.
but like Disney could have similar models. Like that's not impossible either.
Yeah. Right. It's like Disney's might work, but it's like you can't. A lot of these you need to diversify your thing or hone in on a specific market, like Filmstruck, for instance. The Criterion streaming service is if you want to watch Criterion, a bunch of different Criterion films that probably aren't going to be on the other streaming services that are a lot of times really hard to find. Like if you're interested in learning about the history of film, this is a good place to start. And Netflix has a bunch of just films and stuff, and it's the big one that everyone knows. I can't see anyone fucking sign up to a Walmart streaming service unless they have super low prices or some bullshit, which is probably what they're gonna be trying to do.
I don't know, okay, Netflix is in its position because it was first, basically.
Yeah.
Amazon is in its position because you get it for free if you already have Amazon Prime, which lots of people do.
Yeah.
Right.
Disney might have a chance at making one, but even that's up in the air. Their best chance is that if they put a lot of cartoons on it and their catalog of Marvel and Disney and Fox movies, then they'll probably succeed.
Yeah.
Right.
But the more that people start trying to do this, I don't know, even HBO Go, once you get through the backlog of all of those shows, what's on HBO anymore?
That's it, yeah.
So
I mean, you could assume. I actually don't know if they do have this, right? You might be able to watch Deadwood, The Wire, and The Sopranos and stuff. I don't know if they have that on there. That's something, but even so, that's not really. There's not that much.
Yeah.
Well, I think those probably are available. I know that all of Game of Thrones was available.
Yeah. And
that one's off season right now.
Yeah.
And all of Westworld was available too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. Maybe we're not at saturation yet, but at some point we're gonna get there because people can't pay $10 to everything.
Yeah. Yep.
But
maybe they don't have to. Maybe if they can at least make a profit, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see.
So
I just think Walmart is a weird dark horse, though.
Yeah. Walmart's kind of coming out of the blue with this. I guess they want to make money. But here's the thing. Listen, Walmart, hey, you gotta understand that jumping into the big streaming business, what you're going to be doing is you're not competing with you're not going to be able to destroy the lowly mom and pop shop competition. You're going to be fighting with the big dogs again, man.
Yeah, you're going to be fighting with Amazon and Netflix. Amazon is already crushing you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't even think Amazon is in this equation. I have Amazon Prime and I only watch Mr. Robot on it.
Fair enough.
And I know that there's other stuff on it, but I can't tell you what it is. And
I think will probably be on it.
I think the only reason people even think about that one is because they already have it for free. Nobody would subscribe to Amazon Prime for that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
fair enough.
Yeah. The next one, Comcast CEO drops out of the Fox bidding after they were gonna sell to Disney.
Yeah. After Disney was already no, we're going with Fox. Yeah. Or Fox was no, we're going with Disney. I heard that they also approved on the stockholder side the deal. So pretty much that's it. It's done deal. Now done deal for real. FCC was the FTC was okay with it. Or I don't know if it was the FTC or the FCC, whichever one it was.
Yeah.
Or maybe both for all I know. they didn't have a problem with it. The stockholders are happy about it. It looks like it's going through. There's that one lawsuit maybe happening.
Yeah,
but
that's about it.
Other than that, like, yeah, it looks like it's done. It's done deal.
Jesus.
All hail the mouse.
And you know, they're already like, and we were talking about when we were alluding to it earlier when we were talking about that X-Men thing with Disney. Like, Disney already has its hands in their movie studios. Like, Fox is already letting them look and make decisions about stuff. So, you know,
like, Fox knows it's gonna go through too. They're like just waiting.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, okay.
You know what's kind of dumb to me though?
What?
People keep talking about this like it's a merger of two companies. It really kind of isn't. What it really is like just Disney buying a huge catalog of IP. Yeah. That's it, because it's not like they're closing a lot of their studios, like their physical location studios, because they don't need them. Like I don't know. It's just it's not like they're using their distribution channels and stuff. It's like those just have a different name on it. It doesn't seem the same as like a big merger.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but it's not like Disney having Fox. That means both of them have more money. So.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all of our news for this week. Why don't we talk about what we got coming up? We just came out with a really good
oh no.
Battle Royale
video. Yeah, Battle Royale video. I don't know why I couldn't think of the words.
I guarantee you it was a lot more fun to watch than it was to make.
Well, the parts that were fun to make were the parts that I sort of like I put off playing the actual playing the Battle Royale stuff that I put in were almost like slapshod. Like I was like I really almost didn't want to play like a couple of the Battle Royale games. Like I didn't know about Fortnite, but it was like the Paladins one and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds I was like putting off. But the rest of the video I worked really hard on and was fun to make.
Fair enough.
You know, you put them off, but we didn't have that bad of a time with them. Even if they were boring, it was okay.
Yeah, we didn't have that bad with PlayerUnknown or Paladins.
Yeah.
The one that you were like, maybe I should play it. It was awful. It was true.
Yeah,
I wasn't there. I already said I'm not playing Fortnite again.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, and like, I had to like troll through the internet for like 50 billion videos for that. Like, you can go into like the description and like look at the amount of the videos I used in this video list. So if your video showed up in that, I promise you, I put it in the list of them. It's in there. You might have to dig through it, but it's there.
So watch that because it's really funny.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a part 2 of that? Because I think you alluded to one.
No,
no, that's just a look around you joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of every episode of the show that he's parodying, they say, "Next week, tune in for this," and they never
actually. Well, at one point they said, "Next week we're going to look at reggae," and they did do one that was music at one point, so that was as close as they've ever gotten.
Yeah.
It seems odd that you played Cuisine Royale and Tab G and like sort of talked about it, and then now you're not going to use them because now, like, what? Why even? I don't know.
Well, I was going to I had like a bunch of stuff that was in there like about them, like a little bit, but I felt like it didn't really work.
Right.
Like I cut out a bunch of this video, but it was stuff that it's not like the Roblox video where I had like a bunch of really good stuff. It was like I had a bunch of stuff that was fine, but didn't really work with the joke of the video, so it can stay on the cutting room floor.
Right.
All right. What games are you streaming this week, Dalsson?
I'm probably gonna try and stream No Man's Sky. See how that actually is. Okay. I want to continue my Darkest Dungeon run, but once again I lost a character that I liked, and I replaced him with a new character that was the same character, but it's just not the same. I know that the old one is dead. So I might quit forever. Who knows? But yeah, No Man's Sky and Darkest Dungeon is what you can look forward to coming up.
Okay.
Alrighty. And all I do is the podcast shit, so don't expect anything from me.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next time, and remember, as always,
stay beautiful.